Winning fights in Counter-Strike is actually super simple, and it's not all about mechanics. Today, I'm going to show you what pros do in order to make their life easier and find the most success inside of this game. We're going to get you playing like a pro. The first thing that they are doing is they are very intentional about the fights that they are taking. A lot of the problems you guys are facing is the fact that when you're taking fights, you're not consciously thinking about angle isolation and making sure you're only fighting one person at a time, or if there's multiple people, it's because they have to be lined up, right? So a lot of times I see people swinging this long corner super wide, super aggressively, which is a problem because like if the T's are scaling out here, you could have a T that's running out here, you could have an opper posted here, and maybe even another person that is trying to get out as well, not to mention all the flashes that you're going to be facing, all the util, and it can be very hard, right? So why do pros angle isolate? If they're going to take this fight, one, they're usually mauling if this is like an actual early round fight, but if this is in the mid round and they're doing this, what they're going to do is whenever they're fighting these angles, they're not just holding one key and swinging wide, because again, when they see somebody, they could be exposed to multiple positions. So if they want to fight long doors, they are actively getting ready to fight long doors, right? They keep their crosshair around the corner until they're ready, and then they pre-aim it, boom, and to try to find somebody right there. You might see pros do a little bit of, jiggle, strafing, and doing these kind of things. But in general, you're not going to see them overcommitting when they actively are thinking that multiple people could be out, right? You see this all around the map. It's the same reason why when we hold angles, we want to be very tight and intentional with what we are doing. We don't want to expose ourselves to more than we have to. It's why when we're holding mid, we don't hold mid from right here. We hold mid from back here if we want, right? Because then we can actively take fights and engage in people that we want to fight. We're not opening ourselves up to 3 different lines of sight and all these different angles that we could be exposed to, right? And the easiest way to think about this is when you're peeking an angle, when you're doing these things, is what am I trying to fight and what am I exposing myself to? We don't want to peek catwalk to pre-fire this angle if we think that players could be positioned in all these different off angles, right? So that's why you see, like I said, pros jiggle, like doing all these things. And maybe they'll jiggle out the smaller angles like these, and then they get ready to wind up and peek and pre-fire to hopefully catch that person off. So it's something that I see pros doing that newer players just don't utilize. And it's one of the easiest ways you can improve is by actively just thinking, what am I peeking and what am I open to? What am I exposed to? Before we get into the next tip, I have to give you a message from the sponsor of today's video. Thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Skins Monkey. They are one of the greatest and easiest to use CS2 trading sites out there. You can swap out the skins you do not like for brand new ones that are so much more fresh. Even skins that are trade locked can be secured by adding them to your backpack. The greatest thing about the site is that you can buy skins for so much cheaper with a 35% deposit bonus when you use my code, COJO. Make sure to check out the freebie section where you can get a free skin just by completing tasks. On top of the bonuses, you also get a $5 bonus when clicking the link in the description. Okay guys, so the next thing that pros are doing that you are not is utilizing their utility in effective ways to give themselves the advantage, right? So we use this long example. If it's early round or you want to do a bit of a delayed take, one of the best ways you can play like a pro is by utilizing something as simple as a flashbang to help yourself out, right? So we can actually just throw a flash over this wall here, and it's going to land up here and blind anybody that's playing doors, and swing with it. Throwing util like this for ourselves, that is this little gimmicky stuff that isn't going to blind us but blind people that are out across the board on any map, any situation, is always so valuable, right? Say you're playing here on ramp and they're coming up cat on you, you might take a few shots, you're getting overran, they throw the flash, right? What does this flash do? It gives you a window of opportunity to snap onto these people, to make them very uncomfortable. If they're scaling out in cat and in the open here, they are so vulnerable when this flash comes in that they're either gonna have to turn and then you can peek before, or you can try to catch them as they're turning back, or they're gonna have to eat the flash in anticipation of you peeking early. So pros are very talented at this, and they are very effective at actually punishing people for this. Now, if you want to help my channel, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and let's keep going into it. Another thing we've talked about on this channel before, but pros are extremely talented at this, is understanding what to fight for. So in Counter-Strike, you're going to face a lot of splits where people are coming at you from multiple directions, right? So the team could be splitting out of tunnels here and out of mid to try to crunch B, right? And commonly you'll see this mid to B smoke thrown, and then the B guys will kind of sit back and wait while the mid players split out. Worser players, newer players, what they tend to do is they get caught in this limbo of like, not knowing what to do, so they just kind of sit on site and pray. We call this praying at the highest level, because you're just hoping that the situation falls your way, and you're just letting the other team dictate how the success goes. We don't want to rely on luck in order to succeed. We want to take things into our own hand and actually control the situation. So you can do this with a teammate, but for the intents of this video, how you can specifically play like a pro is based off of the information that you're seeing from the radar, for your own eyes, and from what you're hearing from the comms and just the footsteps, everything. We need to make a plan to fight one of the sites. If we sit in the middle and let them crunch on us, we are praying. We're just hoping that, we win the round. High level players, they will always try to choose a side. So, oh, there's 3 guys running through mid. So basic math tells us 3 guys running through mid. There's only 2 in tons at most. That's a much more favorable fight for me. So you'll see them like coming in here to try to kill these guys, because 1, maybe you kill bomb, but 2, if you get these kills, it's such a better place to be in tons, to now retake from this position, and your teammates can now rotate in knowing that nobody is here, right? Same thing if we want to fight mid instead, right? Maybe we smoke off tunnels and we're just, harassing them a bit to make sure they can't come through, and we're sitting here and just fighting middle a little bit, maybe throwing our own flash. One of a really cool one you can do is just like throw it off one of these blocks right here, throw our own flash here and peek with it, so that anybody that is scaling up on us is gonna have to turn again or eat that. And it's so effective, guys. Pros are always doing this, and it's something that isn't even mechanics. It's just the strategy of Counter-Strike that I want to see you taking advantage of. Any map that we're doing, it's so important, right? I've used this example in the past, but if they're long and cat splitting on you, you need to fight one of those sides and take control of it, right? This game is all about control, map control, all this different stuff, where if they're going one place, we need to try to eliminate the split so that we can make our lives simpler and easier. It really is a complex game, and when we can break it down and actually have a proactive plan, it becomes a lot less complex, because now we don't have to worry about long and cat, we just have to worry about long, and then we can sit here with our back to cat and not have to worry about it. If we sit on site, we're so screwed, right? We're sitting here turning back and forth, doing this kind of stuff. That's not how we want to play, make our lives easier, right? I've used this time and time again, but another thing that pros are doing in order to make their life so easy and literally so good is they are able to condition the other team. Now, what do I mean by conditioning? So it could be anything across the map, but you are trying to trick the other team into thinking that you are going to be doing something the entire game. So what pros are doing is early on in the game, they're making some sort of play to make the other team think, hey, we need to watch out for this and we need to plan against this. So generally on the CT side of things, the best way to condition the other team is by doing aggressive plays. So that could be something like, we're running through mid here when we know they don't have an op early on to get into tunnels, and we're crunching it, right? One of us is here, maybe 2 of us are pushing through tons, and we're taking this early space and telling them, hey, you can't have this tunnel space for free, even though most games you're able to, right? So then for the rest of the half, the other team has to sit here and be like, I'm alone and I don't want to get crunched, so they're playing super aggressive, so I just have to sit out here. Or if they're trying to do all this, they actually have to use flashes. They have to flash lower off, they have to flash upper, they have to do all these things that tells us, hey, the other team is here. So many of us are playing Counter-Strike and we're not conditioning, we're not making the other team think and have to use utility in places they don't want to use it, right? The T's would so much rather, instead of having to use their utility for lower, they would love to just sit here and throw flashes over top, throw their smokes, their mollies, but maybe you force them to actually have to molly stairs, right? One of my favorite things to do on this map is behind doors here to smoke top mid, right? We smoke top mid like that. We come up here and with our own flash and we just fight this. We fight these angles. So we're telling them, hey, you're not going to be able to sit out here and relax. You're going to actually have to work for whatever you're doing. So I could give a million examples for this. Whatever you want to trick your opponents and make them have to think about, do that early on in the game for both sides, and then force them to think about that, right? And the cool thing is, like, pros even do this conditioning and like clutches and everything. If you're on the CT side, one of the coolest things you can do is, say you're going for a ninja defuse. You're just straight up trying to defuse the bomb in a 1v1 or something, and you stuck the bomb and now the round's over, you won. It's so great because now in the next rounds, you can come, maybe you're in such a similar situation, right? You're in a very similar spot. You can now come in here, tap the bomb, get ready, because they are going to panic or they're going to shoot. They have to make a play now because you just showed them that you will stick it. So then you just wait for them to spam to expose themselves and boom, easy kill, right? If we can condition our opponents and play this next level game, we will be thinking like a pro. And this has nothing to do with mechanics. It's very good. It's something super simple that you can do, you know, to genuinely just take your game to the next level like that. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I'm going to keep it short and concise today. I think that we went over a lot of great topics. We learned a lot of good stuff. Let me know if you want a part 2 of this video, and I can teach you everything that you need to do to actually fight and play like a pro inside of Counter-Strike 2. Like I said, hit that subscribe button. If you want personal coaching, I offer that down below in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. I will catch you in tomorrow's video. Peace out. Peace out.